So, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Happy Sunday. And hopefully everyone's having a wonderful weekend. Jez, how are you, buddy?
Oh, I've dried out now.
Kenny, you looking good, man?
Oh yeah, it's just it's one of those weekends where you get frustrated. You know what I mean? I've seen many an Arsenal match in the last 10 years where we've had a good result, and it's back to reality. And I suppose the theme from yesterday, and it's still the same today. Is you know back to earth of a bump, reality check weekend.
Big time, big time. Jez, you was obviously at the game, smuggled into the Brighton end. What did you make of it? Obviously, for the people, excuse me, that didn't see your fan cam. Obviously, being at the game live, you can see a hell of a lot more than we can on TV. So, what did you make of it overall, mate?
Oh, it's just lackluster. Just no passion, no commitment. It was, I mean, Odegaard, as I said last night, that guy's got to bulk up, man. He gets knocked off the ball far too easily. And for him to become supposed good top-class midfielder, the way he is, that ain't going to happen, man. He'll get bullied like he did last year in the Premier League. It's a physical league. And there was far too many players out there yesterday that were, well, Xhaka, he looked knackered to me. After 10 minutes, he looked knackered. Why he picked him, the guy needs a rest. And when he did he should have subbed him off about 60 minutes and brought on Pepe then. I think we had a bit more injection in the game. But overall, it was pretty poor.
Yeah, it weren't great. It weren't great at all. Kenny, what about you, mate? What did you make of it?
Yeah, it's just I think a lot of us deep down expected Brighton to be a lot better than Spurs, Norwich and Burnley, and that's exactly what they were. They're in form, they're confident. Their chance of going second. And they actually played to part. They didn't miss Danny Welbeck. They still managed to dominate our centre halves, and in midfield they didn't really miss Basuma because regardless of whether Basuma or Welbeck were playing or not, the system's never changed. They still got in amongst us. They still made sure they won those first balls, and they still tried to disrupt our passing and create overturns in order to get our back four, and they did that all game. And the little chance we had in terms of like going in the attack just faltered really. If it wasn't Smith Rowe holding the ball too long or making the wrong decisions, Aubameyang just wasn't that target man with that fulcrum. And Saka started off first 5 minutes, started off well. You thought, yeah, he's up for it. And then in the end, he faded. He was neither here nor there. And he really, really gave Tomiyasu no support whatsoever and basically left him Kurikaya and Tomiyasu one-on-one. You can't do that in this league.
No, it's true, man. As soon as we see that, it's not just in this league; it's in football in general. We see it with Man United the other night. As soon as Delot got isolated, Dan Zuma had him on strings. It doesn't matter what level you're playing at. Like if you have a winger that's not prepared to track back and help you out, you're in for a long day as a right back or a left back, whichever side it is. And that was not rectified by the manager. It wasn't changed. You just let him carry on doing it. And eventually Saka went off injured after we've run him into the ground again, after he got injured last week and run him into the ground. It's like, I actually looked at his stats a minute ago. Saka, he's only scored 1 goal since January in the league. Why is he undroppable? Like, I don't get it. Martinelli can't get a game, but this guy plays every week. It doesn't affect the game most weeks, and he's still in the team. I like Saka. I think he's good, but when you look at his output, for me, it's nowhere near good enough. I don't care about his age. Yeah, if you're good enough, you get in the team regardless of age, and you can still bag goals. There's no age limit on how many goals you can score, is there? Yeah, but if you're Pepe, let me come to you on this, Jez. If you're Pepe or you're Martinelli, and you're seeing Saka with that output of 1 goal since January, you must be pulling your hair out. Like thinking, why can't I get a game?
I just don't understand it. Yeah, I mean, look, Tottenham game, Saka looked knackered again. He looked knackered yesterday. The guy needs a good 2 or 3 game rest. I will say, I think, yes, he's young. I don't think he's got the physical strength to be continually played week in, week out, because by doing that, we've seen it in the past. He's going to end up with a really bad injury and he's going to be out for months, if not the rest of the season. So give the boy a rest, get on Martinelli or Pepe, give them a good run in the team. They both deserve it. I mean, Martinelli, I really rate that lad. So come on, Arteta, give him a go, man.
100%. I've seen a lot of people, obviously, since the game finished, Kenny, saying it was a good point away from home, and we kept another clean sheet. Did you see it like that?
Not at all, because you look at it, it's about, you can't go for the Tottenham game, where it's a North London derby, where arguably they've got better players than Brighton, and you know, they finished above us for a long time. They've got Harry Kane, they've got Song, they've got Lloris, World Cup winner, and you think, what Arsenal fans wanted, well, that's what this Arsenal fan wanted, was us to continue that good performance and see it as a norm. We can't just say, oh yeah, we got a point. I mean, we get angry if we say that against Man City and Liverpool or Man United, because we think, well, we should be competing with them, we should go in there to win. And Man United, you know, they've drastically declined since Sir Alex retired. So Arsenal fans think, well, you know what, they're not really that much good. We should go in there and win. But we're saying that about Brighton. It wasn't a good point because we played badly. They dominated us. And if it wasn't for woeful finishing and bad decision on their part, they would have beat us 3 or 4-0. To the extent that they were easily the better team. Easily the better team. And they should be kicking themselves. So for us to say, well, that's a great point under the circumstances, well, hang on here. Not really. They're not Barcelona. They're Brighton. So it wasn't a good point. We went back to our bad old ways, which we seem to have a lot under Mikel Arteta. You know, he, as I said yesterday in play ratings, it's only Mikel Arteta is going to end his Arsenal reign. He's going to do it all by himself. It's not going to be us who are critical of him, who want him out, or fans who react badly to bad defeats. It'd be him doing it because, as Jez says, you know, Martinelli can't get a game. Pepe, you know, who was looking our most dangerous player during a bad run, is now being more, we don't need you no more. Martinelli is clearly been pigeonholed into a position that only Arteta knows he can play at, and just won't select him. I mean, he didn't get a sniff in the North London derby as much as we won that anyway, but he didn't get a sniff yesterday. So clearly, he's not doing something right in training, according to Mikel Arteta, or he can only play in one position. So that's worrying, and it's not good for the guy's confidence when he's now fit. He hasn't got injuries. He had a bad injury last season. He came back from it. He is now fully fit and out of pre-season. So why isn't he getting a look in? Why is Balogun, who everyone wanted to have a look at, he struggled against Brentford, and that's it. All bets are off. Come on, that's not good man management.
No.
100%. Like, I think the way that he's managed his squad since he's been here has been a disaster. Like, genuinely, I think if you look, and I've said this loads of times, how many players has he actually improved?
None.
Like, when you look at Brighton's manager has managed 95 games for Brighton. Our manager has managed 94. So he's managed 1 game more, Potter. Obviously, that's not in Europe. That's all competitions, both of them, yeah? He's managed 1 game more than Arteta. Who would you take? Like, one's got their squad running around, going through brick walls for him, playing decent, quick, incisive football. And the other one goes and beats Spurs last week and then just can't be asked yesterday. Like, that's not good enough. Nowhere near good enough. And the fact is, yeah, if I was a young player, I'd leave. Because he's going to burn Saka out. He's going to burn Smith Rowe out. He refuses to drop him even after poor performances. Yeah, and then they're going to get injured. And Saka will get injured. If he ain't already out for the next couple of weeks, I'd imagine at some point he will get a big injury. You know, because this manager is not using him properly. Yeah, he's overplaying him. And then if you're the likes of Martinelli, Maitland-Niles, players like that, you ain't ever getting a chance. You're just thrown on at the end to waste time.
Yeah.
Like, and then people want to sit and talk about Project Youth. It ain't Project Youth. It's Project Destroy the Youth. Yeah, that's what it is. You got Saliba and Guendouzi balling out in Marseille. Yeah, you've got Martinelli, who I think is still to this day scored more goals under Unai Emery than he has under Freddie and Arteta. And that's a fucking joke when you think about it. Like, that was like 2.5 years ago that we signed him. And most of his goals are under Unai Emery. If I was him, I'd leave. Honestly, 100%. I'd be handing a transfer request in. And he's just signed a 5-year contract, hasn't he? He signed that, 6 months ago, maybe?
Yeah.
It's mad.
Well, it's more
Kenny,
for the club, though, isn't it?
well, yeah, protecting the value. Do you know what I mean? Kenny, let me ask you about Thomas Partey, because I've watched a few videos. I've seen a lot of social media talk that we missed the balance of Granit Xhaka next to him.
Well, they would say that. They would say that because, you know, there's a lot of people who generally believe that Xhaka is our midfield. And I say, yeah, he is our midfield. But but that midfield doesn't hurt teams on a regular basis. It doesn't scare teams. It's got no kind of athleticism, and it doesn't move the ball quickly enough. It's, you know, we've got to get past that deep lying midfield area that we're playing. Like Xhaka, you know, he goes in and helps at the left back. He goes deep, try and protect. Yeah, but what we want is a partnership for Partey. We know we want Partey to go, and then Xhaka stay in that sort of position. We don't want to be a situation where Xhaka's playing a deep line midfield, and then Partey's got to do 2 or 3 people's jobs. That's not what we the doctors ordered. No, doctors never. That's not what was on the menu. What we wanted is what we had with Petit and Vieira, or, you know, Vieira and Silva, you know, like a Silva, that sort of thing. We want that. We want a situation where we have a partnership and we have beef in midfield. We don't get outnumbered. So even if Xhaka was playing yesterday, we still would have got outnumbered. He was still being pressed out of the game. Yeah, he would have worked his nuts off and he would try to give some sort of an organisation. But we didn't meet. We would still would have had that situation. We seriously got outnumbered in midfield because we had a passenger called Martin Odegaard, and that's not Martin Odegaard's fault. He's not here to do his, you know, the full capacity what a midfielder should be doing box to box. He's there to create, but Brighton wouldn't let him get the ball, and when he did get the ball, he got beaten up as Jesse got battered. So in terms of like the Xhaka thing, we got to move away from Xhaka. You know, people look at the cup finals in 2017, 2020, look at his performances against Chelsea just before, just after Christmas Day last year, and they think, right, that's it. His good games, because it's kind of living in the memory for a lot of Arsenal fans, the established Arsenal fans. But let's face it, he hasn't been a success for Arsenal. He hasn't been the player we wanted. You know, he's been good, he's okay, but we want better than that. Midfields tend to win you leagues and win you Champions Leagues and actually gets you in the top 4. And since he's come to the club, he hasn't been consistently a fulcrum of in midfield. And we've always, as fans, been looking at anyone but him in the team and leading that midfield. Not every football fan can be wrong, you know. We're not all,
why do you think people
don't
give him such a pass, though, Kenny? Why is he always getting a pass? Like, why do people not want to blame Granit Xhaka or dig out Granit Xhaka's bad? Because
the reason they want to be seen as different. Because a lot of fans see, a majority of Arsenal fans aren't having Granit Xhaka, so there's always going to be some fans who are going to be different. They are going to look at areas and say, well, the grass is not greener over the next door's fence because you've got rid of Xhaka. Look at us, we're still struggling. There's still a lot of people look at Granit Xhaka. There's a lot as that kind of thing because, you know, as we see, you know, we've since Granit Xhaka's come to the Arsenal Football Club, new words have been invented like pivot. You know, but you know that's not saying off. But that is exactly a pivot. I'm assuming that Xhaka is that pivot, and he dictates everything. He's got a bigger picture. Because when Sabzi Kofola was here, who had the bigger picture, was our brain in midfield. We weren't using words like pivot. We've only using it since we ran it to some sides. And you know, we look at his performances against France and the Euros, but he's playing for Switzerland. What do you expect? That's a derby.
And he'd still let Pogba score, who was supposed to be marking.
Yeah, but even so,
I don't know why
that's still
everyone
a
hyped
derby,
that
though.
performance.
France and Switzerland always have, humdingers in major tournaments. Of course he's going to play well. But we're Arsenal fans. It hasn't worked for Granit at Arsenal. It's a shame, because I do rate him, but he's not what we need.
No.
100% agree with you. A bit of breaking news is Watford have sacked their manager, and they are in talks with Claudio Ranieri.
Oh, I heard about that. Yeah.
So that's another manager in the league that would be better than ours. It wouldn't surprise me if Watford finished above us if they get him. But there you go. Big up to everyone watching live, man. 400 people in here, which is decent for a Sunday early afternoon. So thank you very much. Jez, what do you make of Xhaka? Because he's been here for 4.5 years, 5 years maybe. We've not got Champions League football in that time. He's been sent off multiple times, but then he seems to just die. I don't know what it is with him. He seems to have this big section of the fan base that just think he's a genius. Like, do you understand that? Do you get that? Or do you see like I see it, that he's just a fucking liability?
I don't rate him at all. I haven't rated him since the day he first joined us, to be honest. What he's brought to the club is absolutely dog shit. He, to me, is a liability. I panic every time he gets the ball. How many times can you actually count on one hand his incisive runs into the box, taking on a defence and looking like a Switzerland captain? I can't think of very many. I just no time for the guy whatsoever.
Yeah, I don't rate him. I can't stand him. Listen, there's not even 100 likes on this video. You rats, assemble on the like button. Smash the likes up, people. And Kenny, let me ask you as well, right? Because I've seen us play 7 games this season in the league. We've scored 5 goals. 3 of them were against Tottenham, right? So let's take that game out for now, because we know that was a one-off, based on the other 6. We have scored 2 goals in 6 games. And we've got Aubameyang, Lacazette, Pepe, Saka, the star boy, Smith Rowe. Why can't we score?
Well, Lacazette is not a first choice. He's decided that Aubameyang is going to be that centre forward, and that he's going to play Odegaard and Smith Rowe off him. That is his first choice now. So you've got to take Lacazette out of the equation. And in terms of Pepe as well, Pepe is probably, like I said, he's been sacrificed to keep Saka on the side, because probably, Saka, I think maybe Saka, maybe people feeling at the club is that Saka's best position is that right-hand side. So Pepe, who we know plays good football on that right-hand side, but can play on the left-hand side, can't get a game. So again, it's Mikel pigeonholing Pepe into a position, which means, if that position is not available, Pepe can't play. Aubameyang, again, we have to probably accept, on the evidence, that this is a new Aubameyang. He's lost a yard of pace. He's not the player that he was previously, and that we just have to accept it, and that we're going to have a situation where he's not going to score, like the goals that we require on a regular basis. He's just probably going to be like a Giroud. Go, games without scoring, then scoring in a few bursts and go, what I mean? The kind of 2 steps forward, 5 steps back. And that's what we got with Aubameyang last season. And, is it Arteta? Is it Aubameyang? I don't know, because, he's not ill. He's fit now. What is going on? What has happened? Does he rate this manager? Is he getting the service he wants? Is his best? Are we giving the genuine support that, we know that he plays his best football with Lacazette in the team. Lacazette's not there. He's now getting Smith Rowe and Odegaard to put a ball in for him. That's just not gelling. Pepe, someone who I think works well with Aubameyang, again, that's not gelling. So again, it's on the manager. Like, there's so many people, right, who slag us off, and who say, "Oh, how can we say that Arteta's lost a dressing room? I was a North London derby." Well, he can't be that popular with a fit again Martinelli. If Aubameyang's not firing all cylinders and he doesn't get, and he's the main man, and we've basically not building a team around him, he can't be that popular with Aubameyang, and he certainly can't be that popular with Lacazette. If Lacazette ain't playing, and what's the name, and Ketty would feel a bit pissed off. Sorry, my language, but I think Balogun as well was. I don't know what he was holding out for, but he was clearly promised a pathway in the first team. First sniff, he can't get in the game. So these are players that you haven't mentioned about why our attack is failing. But ultimately, our attack is failing because of our manager's tactics. It's not Mikel Arteta. It can't be anyone else. It can't be anyone else. You've got the personnel, but the way we're playing isn't conducive to creating chances. We're not on the front foot. We're on the front foot, Spurs.
We're very passive, aren't we? We're not proactive in taking the game.
We're only proactive against Tottenham. Why would we proactive against Tottenham? One, derby, 60,000 fans baying for blood. They were proactive because of us, our presence, not just in the stadium, but our presence in terms of it's Tottenham. Everyone. It was like any one of us could go in that dressing room and just got every player by the labels and just yes, Tottenham. And they would have reacted. But that what we saw yesterday was a norm in terms of the attack. We've gone back to our bad old ways.
The thing is, Kenny, you are bang on right there, my friend. And there was times yesterday, and I was sat 4 rows behind the Arsenal and Brighton dugout, and there was times when Arteta looked like a fucking windmill. He's like this. And you could actually physically see the players thinking, "What? You want me here? No, you want me there." And there was a time in the second half, and Graham Potter's out of his dugout, and you can see him looking at Arteta. I'm sure he must have been thinking, "You are a prick, mate." Graham Potter running around like a bloody windmill, doing this, doing that, and Arteta's doing it all the time.
Arteta don't know what he's doing, though, is it, Chess?
Hey,
you've got one manager who's got a clear path of how he wants to play.
Yeah,
and he's probably looking at Arteta. He's thinking, if I had your players, I could smash this job into pieces and do a good job.
If he was the manager of Arsenal, we'd be in a top 4 race comfortably.
All day. All day.
If he had a top striker where he is now, they'd be in a top 4 race themselves. They fucking had 21 shots yesterday. Do you remember when our fans cry about, but Unai Emery conceded 30 against Watford? Do you remember? Yeah. Is anyone bringing that up from yesterday then? After we just
not at all.
It's mad. It's actually a fucking joke. And the thing is, it's not the first time we've seen smaller teams, with all due respect, fucking pump us with shots. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I just look at it and I think, surely this fan base can see that this manager ain't good enough, number one. Number two, surely they can see every year we do the same shit, regardless of whether it's Wenger, Emery, Arteta. So something's got to give. It's not just the players. None of these players were here 10 years ago, and we were still doing the same crap. Yeah, the difference is we were playing better football then. Yeah, we'd go and beat all the shit teams and lose to the big teams. Yeah, now we can't beat the little ones and we get piped by the big ones. It's like, and that's why we're 8th, 9th, 10th, whatever. Like, it's just embarrassing, man. It really is. And like you said about Potter standing there looking at Arteta, Potter's come up through 3 different leagues. Yeah, he's had a proper education in football through 3 different leagues. Yeah, 3 different countries. Yeah, and he's come up through the ranks. He's had to earn his stripes the hard way. Mikel Arteta just gets shoehorned straight into the Arsenal job because Pep said he was going to be great. Like, it just makes no sense. Yeah, and the whole time I was watching that game, Arteta barely sat down. Potter was sat like that most of the game.
He was.
Yeah? You've had 6 days to prepare your team. So why the fuck are you windmilling on the fucking sidelines? You've had 6 days to give them the game plan. Why are you now talking them through the game? Yeah, Potter's giving his instructions and he's sat there watching his team. And then when he wanted to make a sub, he was like that, talking to his assistant.
Do you think that's do you think that's? And I'm not being like. I've noticed that he's not the only manager that does that. That Francesco, Giuseppe Guardiola does that a lot. He's a gesticulator. He's a micromanager to a certain extent, and he's the ultimate player. And there's other managers in this league that tend to do that. The only, you know what I mean? All right. So maybe it's something. Maybe he's one of those people that he's like Pep. He's a control freak. Nothing is ever perfect. You know. I saw a time yesterday when there was a break in play when he actually got hold of Partey and he was just. I don't know. You probably saw it, Jess, because we saw it on TV, but you were near closer. And there was a break in play where he's got Partey and he's gesticulating and pushing, pointing like that. And I've seen that a lot at the Emirates where he's going like that. So I don't know. Maybe it's something that that is it's how they've been brought up to be that kind of coach where they micromanage. They want to have big control in your career, innit? Where previously people like Ruud Gullit, when he was manager of Chelsea, would just sort of think, right, you know best, go out and play. But I think maybe it's modern coaches. I just don't know. But for someone who micromanages his players, they already know how we're going to play during training, as Jess says. They already know before the game when they have their little meet in the hotel and even in the dressing room. So they know what's going on. So why are they being overloaded when they go on a football pitch? Why are they looking around and going, "Oh no, man, I don't know what I'm supposed to do"? I'm sure there's got to be a situation in training where one of the senior players are having a go at the guy and going, "For the love of God, Mikel, what do you want from me? This isn't working. I don't know whether to go here, whether to be in that position. I don't know where to receive the ball. Because when you come on, you're confusing me. You're telling me I'm doing something wrong. And the tactics keep on changing during the game. Help me out, Mikel." They've got to be saying that to him. Surely they're going to be saying that.
I don't think they are, though. I think that half of them are probably shit scared of him. Yeah, and the other half are probably past giving a fuck.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So you've got probably Aubameyang, Laka, players like that are probably going, Kolasinac, another one. Who else? Callum Chambers, maybe, just sitting there going, yeah, contract's running out. Who gives a fuck? Yeah, and Aubameyang's just like, whatever, I can't be asked. Why did I sign the deal? Yeah, and then you've got all the youngsters that say, yes, Mikel, no, Mikel, 3 bags full, Mikel, because they're shit scared of him and they want a game. So I don't think anyone is challenging him.
There was one classic yesterday in the second half, towards the end of the second half. And you had Arteta stood there, right? And Partey's got the ball, yeah? And he's going, so Partey literally is looking, stops, goes to pass the ball, loses the ball, and you can see him looking at Arteta like, what? And I'm thinking, what is he actually trying to communicate to this team? It was almost like he was saying, stop there, stop, and you're thinking, these guys honestly must be so frustrated and so confused. And I think his micromanaging, as Kenny quite rightly has put it, has undermined the confidence. And I'm sure that is why one of the reasons Tierney has regressed as the player he is not now when he first came from Celtic. He yesterday looked so disinterested.
Yeah.
Honestly. And there's all these stupid comments from fans. Oh, but it's raining. Well, what the hell are they going to do when it's snowing? These are professional bloody football. And sorry, guys, this is England, and it does tend to get a little bit fucking wet in the winter.
Yeah. Let me just stop you there 1 second, very quickly. So this fella here, listen, mate, when I'm doing a fucking show, and take this in and take it in real fucking quick as well, yeah? right? When I'm doing a show and we're having a full-blown conversation, do not expect me to read your fucking comment, mate, yeah? If you don't like it, fuck off. Simple as that. As you were, Jez.
Yeah, and yeah, Tierney to me yesterday just looked so lackluster, just not interested in the game at all, and it proved it by his performance. And sadly, I have to say, I'm so sorry, but I've seen that guy this season, and he is not the player he was. No way. Whether that's because he's been given a task to do, which, I mean, he doesn't make the good forward. He didn't yesterday make the good forward runs, get down that left, cross it in the box. So what's that about?
And when he has been doing it this season as well, it's not like he's even picking his crosses properly anymore. He's literally just whipping them in, not even looking anymore. Like, whereas before he'd have his head up, like it'd go past the player, you already know where he's going to put it, and now it's just, oh, let me just get it in the box. That way I've done my bit. And it's like, how have we got to this position with this player? Because he is a quality left back, and he looks lost in defence, and he looks lost going forward, you know. And I just think, like, he's probably sitting there thinking, fucking hell, I left Celtic for this. Party's thinking I left Atletico for this. Like, they were winning titles. Like,
they've left for money, innit? They've got more money. They've increased their salaries. And I think, financially for their families, that's Arsenal is a good move. And it's all right. Tierney, you might as well. He's not exactly going to be worldly wise when he lives in London. I mean, bloody hell, everyone a Tesco bag whilst they've all got man bags. I mean, that says it all. Unless he's doing it for show, and that's Tierney. But the problem we have got with Arsenal is wrong man in charge, not enough leaders, and not a clear style of play. If Arsenal had someone like a Graham Potter with organisation and with someone who is given a trust, which I know a lot of Arsenal. One thing I like about Arsenal, and I hate about Arsenal, is they do tend to back a manager. They try and back a manager and give him as much time as they like. I mean, the only manager that wasn't properly backed was two anyway. One was basically had the wool pulled over his eyes, i.e. Bruce Rioch, because he was clearly a stopgap, because I think they probably wanted to get Wenger a year before and think, all right, you'll have to do, mate. And he didn't tell him. And Unai Emery, he was just basically, I think that certain Arsenal fans and I think certain people at the football club are waiting for him to fail so they can get rid of him because of the fact that he was an arsene. But ultimately, 100%. They're giving this guy, Mikel, a lot of time, like they gave Don Howe and Terry Neal. And I think that any manager, especially if it's someone like Graham Potter, will get the time, because that's the sort of club that we support. Unfortunately, the downside to that is if they are poor at their jobs, or we're not making significant progress, because the club are committed to giving these managers time, it's very hard for us to get our own way and push for them to be replaced.
Very true.
Yeah, 100%, mate, 100%. Listen, smash the likes up, everyone. Nearly 600 people here. We're going to do about another 5 minutes, then we're getting out of here. We've all got busy days today. Let me ask you, Jez, about the next 3 games, because we've got international break now, and then we've got Crystal Palace, we've got Aston Villa, and Leeds United. That's 3 games that on paper you think, oh yeah, well, they're easy. But the reality is they're all hard runners. They're all technically good players in all 3 of them teams. And they will all have a go as well. What do you think could be realistic out of them 3 games points wise?
Realistically, I would say I think we will lose to Palace. To me, they've got a very good manager. He's got a structure. He's got a plan. He's proving that. I think we'll lose that one, so that's no points. Aston Villa, I reckon we'll draw. And possibly Leeds, I'm going to go for a draw with Leeds. So I'll give 2 points.
Listen, I'm sitting here laughing. We could potentially lose all 3 of them. It's kind of mad. What do you think, Kenny?
Well, the thing about it is that if you can't lift ourselves for those games where we're at home, Patrick Vieira's coming coming to Arsenal. We don't want to give him a nice little welcome. No doubt we're going to sing Vieira songs, but we still want to get
all the way. They'll be standing up, giving all of that one.
And then we've got Aston Villa, who did a double over us. And we've got Leeds, who murdered us.
I think the Leeds game, sorry, apologies. I think the Leeds game's in the Cup.
Leeds in the Cup, yeah. But the next game, what's
that?
The
Carabao Cup, isn't it?
No, the next game's Leicester away.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh. Leicester away. So Leicester away, we've got a very kind of a mixed record. That we did well last season at the King Power, and then they beat us at the Emirates. But Leicester are going through a bit of turmoil because they've got new players into the club, like Vestergaard and Bertrand, and they're still struggling. Today they're playing 4-4-2. So again, they got the players, but I think what's happening now is that the expectations have gone really high because they finished 5th in the last 2 seasons. So again, they're all hard games. They've all got teams that have playing structurally well. Villa are a bit inconsistent. Crystal Palace are what they get. But these games, if Arsenal can't get motivated for those 4 games, then we've got something wrong. But realistically, if we play like we did yesterday, then Jez is right. It's going to be a struggle to get 3. If we struggle to get 3 points, even 2. But it's how we play and how we react. And he seriously has to get the forward line working again. If he can't get the forward line working again, then we're going to struggle because these teams we're playing are realistically going to have it with us. I don't know about Leeds. They're probably playing a weakened team in the Cup. But in terms of Palace, they're going to come because they've got a structure now. They're not relying heavily on Zaha. Aston Villa, they've spent the Grealish money, in my opinion, very well. And you've got your Leicester, who are going to, have a kind of an avalanche of, we've had enough of this rubbish we're playing. We're going to put in a performance, and there's no incentive than Arsenal. So we've got 3 difficult games where we've got to improve because this is going to make or break Mikel. Because let's face it, he got the excuse because it was Brentford and the champions of Europe and the champions of the country. And then we had the 3, what we now know were easy games. As Darren Lewis said today on Sky, the games we're playing now are teams that are going to have it because they are more organised and they're better than the teams who we beat. So these are proper football matches. So, fans will turn if it doesn't happen. They will turn. Not because I'm encouraging them to, because it's in their nature. What's that word you use? Flip-flop. Flip-flop. They'll flip-flop if the results go against us.
Isn't it sad that we, as the Arsenal, are now being targeted by all these teams, thinking, we can get a result against Arsenal when it's
the same with Man United, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Old Trafford.
Yeah.
If you don't go Old Trafford and go on a front foot there, you've missed a trick because they'll do. Man United would do us every team away from home because the way they play, they'll win every home game, away game. They're that good because they've got match winners. But Old Trafford, with Solskjaer playing McTominay and Fred, that's basically leaving your back door open and leaving with the flaps open and the windows open. As far as I'm concerned, Old Trafford.
It's true. And that's how both of our clubs have gone. And then it's no coincidence that both of our clubs have gone down the PR route. They employed, they employed Neil Ashton to do their PR. Yeah, that's their dedicated guy. He actually works for Man United. Yeah, and both clubs have gone and done the PR thing, and it's working because our fans are still declaring their love for Arteta, and their fans are still trying to keep Ollie in a job. Yeah, and both fan bases have a small little percentage that actually want to win. Yeah, but it's all about merchandise now. It's all about the match day experience at the ground. It's not about fucking winning football matches with these 2 clubs. And it's kind of mad because I've grown up on that rivalry of Fergie and Wenger. And to see Man United fucked, and they are, I think they're more fucked than us, if I'm honest. Yeah, they're a bigger football club than us. They've got a bigger wage bill than us. And they've got players turning up at Old Trafford doing Ronaldo's celebration on goals. Like, I mean, if that was me, I would be fuming if I was at Man United. Yeah, I'd be going mad. Yeah, that Andros fucking Townsend has just done that on my pitch. Yeah, but nobody cares. They don't care anymore. and it's all about that. It's all about the money. And you know, these fans that sit there and back this crap, none of them have seen their teams win a league. And if they have, they should expect better. But we can sit and cry about it all we like. Until these people raise their standards, our clubs will keep taking the piss. Yeah, and that's the same with Man United as well. You know, it's all it is these days. It's just take the piss, fleece the fans, lower the expectations. You don't need to win. Yeah, and Man United's always been attack, attack, attack. Now they park the bus and hope for fucking special goal. It's mental, isn't it, really? And then you look at us. I've grown up on 1-0 boring Arsenal to fantasy football Arsenal to win our shit. And there doesn't seem any way out of this. It's kind of mad. But
some fans are accepting it, though. You know, some fans, you know, who are my age and Jez's age as well, I've got to say, well, be careful what you wish for. Don't be so ungrateful and don't be so spoilt and entitled, and just get behind the team. That is the buzzword now, which is basically like an antidote to anything we say on this podcast today or previous podcasts. Get behind the team. Why can't these guys get behind the team? Why are they reveling in that poor form? Why they just have to moan? I'd have to turn off. I was having a good day and I went on Twitter and it's now spoiled everything because people are just moaning and why can't they just, you know, what sort of fans are they?
Yeah, they're the reason this club's toxic.
Yeah.
They're the reason this club's toxic. Lee Gunner and Kenny Ken and Jez Collins, they're the reason this club's toxic because they're a disgrace. Yeah. And it's like, do you actually really believe that when you're typing that? Like, honestly.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. If it can get you between 500 and 1,000 likes, why not? Why not put it up?
Yeah, no, it's true, man. It's true. The amount of people that get more likes talking about us, yeah, than they do talking about football kind of sums it all up, really, doesn't it? You know, their footballing opinions are dead, but they mention Lee Gunner in this channel. Yeah, then they get loads of likes. Oh, yes, let's get loads of likes. How about get that on your own videos, mate? Right. They're so worried about me. It's mad. But it's the same at Man United. You know, Runts gets it all the time as well. You know, people saying he's a disgrace, he's this. He actually said when Ronaldo signed that he didn't want him. You know, something along them lines. Said, no, he'll be a bigger problem than the help. Yeah, and so far, he's kind of been proved right because it ain't elevated him, is it? And all it's doing is shoehorning him into the team every week. And now they feel like they have to just give Ronaldo the ball. Do you know what I mean? And then Greenwood don't want to do that because he wants to be the hero. So he's just shooting from everywhere. You know, it's mad. It's actually mad. But listen, we could go on forever. We are going to wrap this up, people. Thank you to everyone who's tuned in live. There's over 600 people still. Make sure you smack a like up on the video. And to all the respectful ones that were in the chat today, thank you very much. As you guys know, I don't read comments out if we're in full flow. I'll pin them though. But obviously, some people get caught in their feelings and can't hack it. So see ya. One of them, innit? Jez, thanks, mate. Appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of the day, buddy. And same to you, Kenny. Thanks very much, mate.
It. Look, all I've got to say to people, don't take it personally. We see all your comments. We all acknowledge them. You know, and you know, don't take it to heart. I know. Ideally, right, when you go to a match and you wait, you want to be, you think that everyone's going to be interviewed by the fan cams, and you miss out. I know how it must feel, but it's not personal. We're just going for the flow of the show. Come on, don't be like that, mate. Don't take it badly.
Exactly. PSG lost to Rennes. Jesus Christ. He'll be sacked soon. Listen, all have a wonderful afternoon, whatever it is you're doing. And I'm getting myself out of here.
Arteta out.
Arteta out.
Arteta out. We're